Welcome. Come on in. I'm Dr. Patricia James. I'm coming on today just to go over some of my products. My sister requested for me to go over the products that she's selling, that she is putting in her group. So I just wanted to start it off. I'm Dr. Patricia James. I'm the founder of Patricia K. James Global Ministry. And my mission is to empower you to maximize your potential, ignite your passion to fulfill your purpose. And then I want to activate your faith to walk in your God-given kingdom assignment with a mandate that yes, you are enough and you will walk in total fitness with your mind, your body, and your spirit. So I started this journey. The first book I would like to talk about is the book that I published last year. It's Faithfully Favored and Fit. Is 5 Power Principles to Excelling while you're serving with a pure heart. And I would recommend this book to each person that may be in the corporate sector, people that volunteer, people that have a heart and a passion to serve, that this book will help them through the process. In this book, I shared some of my testimony, I shared some of the challenges, I shared some of the things that I faced, but all the time I was able to remain calm, remained with a pure heart, and to serve as the servant unto God. So the 5 power principles that's in this book, it would be, the first one is the power of faith to break the barriers of the past. The second power is power to serve with character and integrity. The third power is the power to excel while you're serving with a pure heart. And that is very key, serving with a pure heart. And the fifth key is the power to become fit for the kingdom. And that fit that God had given me is that walking in fearless integrity with your time, your talent, and your treasure. And that we can excel while we're serving. So the next project that God allowed me to work on said, now that you have the book, and now you have made that as a resource, as a tool that people can use in a group setting, whether you want to do it in your book club. And so I created Faithfully Favored and Fit. And I call it my I Serve study guide. And God gave me I Serve, I Fit. If it ever was the time that we need to serve, now is the time. So in this book, what I did, I took the information from Faithfully Favored and Fit, and I kind of followed the guidelines so that you can have a study guide in which you can go a little more in depth in your study when you're studying about being faithful. It's very important to be faithful, how God will put favor on your life, and then to become fit. And so in every chapter that we will have a key theme, a transparent question, because we always want to thine own self to be true. And then you're going to discover the power principle and then do some self-actualization techniques. And then we go into application of the power principle and action to take. And every conclusion, we are going to have a prayer that you can pray, or you can make declaration. So this is a companion guide. And on this one here, that it was published by Untapped Potential, by my mother, my spiritual mother, Lisa Blake. So it's Faithfully Favored and Fit. It's I Serve study guide. And it's the companion that goes along with Faithfully Favored and Fit. 5 power principles to excelling while you serve with a pure heart. And so you can go to Amazon.com, and this book is $24.95. You can go and pick up the I Serve study guide. If you would like this guide, then you can email me at drpat@patriciakjames.com, and I can get the information to you. So the next project that God had me to do, let me go back just a minute, because this is not the book that I wanted to write. And God said, not now with the other book. I still haven't written that book, but God said I still would be able to write it. And he said the fit under this book is going to be what is going to catapult everything else that you do. because I am a registered licensed dietitian, I'm a certified health coach, I am a weight management and behavior change specialist. So the book that I was writing was going to encompass a lot of that. But God said, before you tell them all about that, I want you to tell them who you are. Because a lot of time people may see the glory, but they don't know the story. So in this book, you will find out some of my testimony, some things that from my past, some things when I was growing up, and also to give you a journey through my life, my career, as I continue to serve as unto the Lord, and how I utilize the 5 power principles to excel while I was serving with a pure heart. Again, you can get those the book from Amazon, and the study guides you can get from, or you can email me. So the next project I worked on that go along with the Fit, and it's Fit by God's Design. This is an annual planner. And God said, create habits. We want to do habits. Habits planner for serving, for health, for nutrition, for fitness, for life. And so these are the 4 areas that God had given me to focus on. And they also have transcended to be the 4 main areas that I focus on in Patricia K. James Global Ministry. In this planner, I set it up whereas that you can pick it up at any time. So it's a monthly, you have a monthly and a weekly. You will have your calendar that show you the full year. And then as we turn the pages, then I made areas where we need to always have a goal. Go ahead and set you some goals for the whole year. You may not be able to accomplish all of them, but set goals. And I call them my annual fat timeline. And you see my shirt, fat. That means pursuing health and transformation. That I'm Dr. Pat, and I am your fat chick. And that chick is creating habits intended for change. And then you have another area where you can put your 3 major fat annual goals. As we process through the book, then we have a heart care plan. You know, I did this because I worked in healthcare for about 30 years. So in a care plan, you need to identify some areas of improvement, and then you're going to come up with some interventions, and then you're going to come up with your goal, and you go back and you're going to see whether I accomplished that. So on this heart care plan, I broke it down because when I teach, I like to teach a holistic approach. And that's with your mind, your body, and your spirit. And we have to have all of 3 of these working together, because you can be fit physically and then your mind can be toe up from the flow up. So it's very vital that we get these 3 in conjunction together. And I call them, you know, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And it's a heart care plan. And then you have an area where you can do your fat monthly impact goals. I talk about impact, everything that I do, because the Fit is focus plus impact equal transformation. So when we're setting our monthly fat goals, we want to have impact. That I want you to be intentional. I want you to be inspired. That M is that I want you to be motivated, but not only motivated, but when you set and establish your goals, that is something measurable, that I can go back to see whether I accomplished that goal. And then that P is that it's for a plan. We creating a plan, and God has given you a purpose. So we want to make sure that we know our purpose, that we're walking in our God-given kingdom assignment, and that we have strategically followed a plan. And that A is so important. That A is having the right attitude, because you can be intentional, inspirational, you can have the motivation, you can measure it, have a purpose and a plan. But if you don't have the right attitude, then you're doing a defeating measure. You are sabotaging everything that's going on in your life because your attitude. Because, you know, they say your attitude will determine your latitude. Not only your attitude, but having agility. So when you're looking at body, mind, and spirit, we're looking at some flexibility with your agility. And at C, that I want to encourage you to be courageous. Yes, on this journey to be courageous, that nay, in all these things, you are more than a conqueror. And that T is that I really encourage, and my approach is always to be transparent, have a heart-to-heart conversation. So that T means that it's going to take time. It takes time to turn a ship. It takes time to change a behavior. So that T is that it's going to take time. That T is that you got to trust the process. We know what Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, to trust in the Lord with all that heart. Lean not into thine own understanding. And then to be transparent, that you're going to be naked. You're going to be honest. You're going to do some self-evaluation. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to identify any areas that you may need to change or to adjust, because this journey is all about you. When God said he give me this mission, he said it's a mission to be on the journey with you, to empower you, because it's about you, empowering you to maximize your potential. You have greatness inside of you. And then he said to ignite, to get excited about the change, the behavior, and we're looking at a behavioral lifestyle, nothing that we're talking about a quick fad, a quick fix, but something that you can live with for the rest of your life. So we want to make a impact, and then I want to activate. Activate mean that after that I have empowered you and equip you, and that you have a passion, that you've been ignited, then I want to activate you so that you can be released. See, because we got to be released so that you can go forward. Release so that you can make an impact in this world. Release you so that you can walk in your God-given kingdom assignment with a mandate that God had given me to let you know, yes, you are enough. So you establish your fat goals. And then this here's what's a goals to-do list. After you have established that, then it may be some things you need to pick up. And it's a blueprint for success. What are some of the areas I need to do? Do I need to go grocery shopping? Do I need to go get me a scale? Do I need to go and get me, all the different things? Here's your to-do list. And then you're going to write your self-actualization progress note, because you're going to have to talk to your own self and making sure that you're on track and that your mind, see, as a man thinking his heart, so is he. And that's why it's important. It is vital that when you're looking at being fit by God's design, not man's design, that it's going to be with your mind, your body, and your spirit. Because there's a lot of people may look physically fit. I have worked in healthcare for 30 years, and I have seen different residents come in and they look physically fit. And if you didn't know them, you would think that they were a visitor. But when you start talking to them, you find out it's something that's not totally gelling in the mind. So it's very vital that we have our mind and our spirit. See, you got to have the right spirit. You got to function in the fruit of the spirit. You got to have that all those good traits. And see, and that's why it's important to have the right attitude. In this guide also, because we want to always, be cognizant of our finances. And so I have a financial fat budget, whereas you can log in your expected amount, what you actually bring in, and then you can go and see, do I have an emergency fund? Do I have a fund for retirement, for my education? And then you can log in every month your different bills and expenses that you have, like your mortgage, your insurance, your maintenance, and the auto expenses. So you can flip back every month to see whether you're on track. So you're establishing goals also when it concerning your finances. Now, this is something I was telling my sister, and you may not be able to see it real good. It's a fat 30-day heart challenge. So in this challenge, it's going to talk about the heart. Hello, Terry, my classmate. Good to see you. I'm just going over some of the products that God allowed me to create. He said, rather than buying different products to do your academy, he said, you go ahead and you create those. So everything I do is from the heart. It's going to be a heart-to-heart conversation. The church that God allowed me to pastor is My Heart to You Healing and Deliverance Community Church. My business that I have been doing since 1997 is My Heart to You Professional Nutritional Consulting Services. So the heart is very essential. And every day, you will be asked these questions that you have the opportunity to check the box to see whether you are heart healthy and honoring God. That's with your H. That E, are you eating right? Are you exercising? Are you enjoying your fluids? And if you did that, you check that off. And then that A is attitude. Going to make sure that you're functioning with a good attitude. And then that R is that reality, or you setting realistic goals. And then that T, like we said, it's going to take time. You got to trust the process, and you got to be transparent. So every day you will revisit this heart care plan, and it's to thine own self be true. It is very important that when you're doing this, that you're honest with yourself. And then on here, we have a fat nutritional regimen. When I established the book, I kind of didn't make it whereas you could do this every day on this form where you're recording what you're eating so you can go back from day to day. But one good thing that you can do, because it's a weekly planner, and it's broken down in every day, that you still can write down everything you eat, everything that you drink. And the rationale for that is that you're going to go back and see, okay, can I do something? What do I need to do to make a change? These telemarketers about to get on my nerves. Are we still in there? Okay. Let's see, are we still recording? But we're just going to keep on talking. Can somebody let me know that we're still live? I have these telemarketers keep calling. And you can write down every day. Write down, your goal. You're going to have also a quote. I put a quote on the bottom of the page. And the quote on this week, it says, "What good is living a life you've been given if all you do is stand in one place?" So it's going to be motivational. And then you have a daily confession, because as a man think in his heart, so is he. And the power of life and death is in the tongue. So like on this daily confession, and this is fat by God's design, you're going to get up every day and say, I am fit. I'm focused plus impact equal transformation by God's design. I am ready for change. And you can cross-reference Romans 12:2. I am fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. I am intentional and consistent about my health. I am in charge of how I feel, and today I am choosing to change. I am fat. See, and that connotation may throw people off because you're thinking that F-A-T, but it's God give me P-H-A-T. And that's pursuing health and transformation. And he gave me this acronym because, people will judge you. And just because you may be a certain size, it's not necessary that you are healthy. So we want to always be in a state of pursuing health and transformation, because you need to make sure you go and do your annual visit. You know your numbers, you know your blood pressure, your glucose, all of those different numbers, so that you have something to gauge and measure. See, that fit by God design, that's focus plus impact. And you won't know what impact you're making if you don't follow that M, where it's something that you can measure. And you measure that by going to the physician and making sure that you're having your lab draws. But we're in pursuit of health and transformation, and it's all by God's design. So on this weekly planner, it's a place that you can document every week, and you will get, like I said, a quote. Like this quote says, "Start from wherever you are and with whatever you got." And that's from Jim Rohn. So you can always be encouraged. And then at the end of the month, you can go back. I created a section called Monthly Fat progress notes. And this is where you can go and you can look at all of your goals that you established for that month. Look at your financial, look at the heart challenge, look at the nutritional regimen, look at all of these areas and see that I accomplished my goal. And then I want you to write a care plan. I want you to write a note. Get a SMART note where you're going to be specific. It's going to be measurable. It's going to be actionable. It's going to be relevant to you. And then you can trust the process. So that's what you're going to do when you do your monthly fat progress note. And then to thine own self be true, that you're going to look at it and say, okay, in this area on the second week, I didn't do as well. But on the third week, I made some behavior modification and I changed some behaviors. So therefore, even though that second week, it took me a little while to get moving, get going, I still accomplished my goals by the end of the month. So it will take this process all the way through every month. That's what you would get. So this book is on Amazon.com. And so what God, he pressed upon me, because it is fully colored. On the back of it, it give my goal. And my goal through this planner is to help you through the transformation phase, to empower, to ignite, and activate your faith to receive the power to know. See, you got to get that power. You have to know that, yes, you are enough, and to mentor you to be fit for your kingdom assignment in your mind, your body, and your spirit. And we're going to do this by transforming your mind to believe that all things are possible, transforming your body to achieve your goals, and transforming your soul to conceive that you are fearfully and wonderfully made to walk in the fullness of who God created you to be by his design. Because we know that when God made us, he broke the mold. So my health and fitness may look different than yours. So there's no competition. We just got to make sure that every day that we're doing the best, we're pursuing health and transformation, and that we're creating habits that are intended for change. And so, like I was saying, this is on Amazon, and this is one price point. And so what God said, he said, well, can you do it where we don't use the spiral? And you can go and it's about $12 different if you get this. It's a perfectly bound. And it has all of the colors in here just as if you had purchased the spiral. But one thing with the spiral is that, you know, you can flip it over and it's more convenient for you to record information. But this perfectly bound is still 8 by 11 and it's color all the way through. And then for another price point that God had me to do is that on the front is color, the back is color, but on the inside, you may not be concerned with all of the color. It's in black and white. But you get the same mechanism from the full color with a spiral bound, and it's about $12 different from the original. Also, I have Fit by God's Design cups, mugs that I have. And, you know, and we talked about Fat Chicks. I also have the mugs and different things that go along with that. Let me see what else. Through my Fit by God's Design is 12 months in a year. And God dealt with me about 12. And 12 is apostolic order. And it's kind of like your foundation. And he reminded me that he had given me the blueprint. He had given me the design in 2002 when I was ministering in Chatham doing Friday night food for the soul. And see, that's why we can look back on our life and we can see the different footprints, and we can see the different areas that God has already prepared us. And like the word says, he said, before you call me, I have already answered. And he has already declared the end from the beginning. So through the process of the Fit by God's Design planner, I also have Fit by God's Design shirts. I have the fat chick, but God dropped in my spirit. He said, I want you to make it universal. And so a male is not going to be walking around saying I'm a fat chick, but they can say that I am fit by God's design. And that fit is focus plus impact equals transformation. And it's still going to have the same effect. So the next thing I wanted to talk about briefly was that how God connected from the first book, Faithfully Favored and Fit, 5 Power Principles to Excelling While You're Serving. See, it had to be a foundation of serving, had to get you into the power, into those principles, so you can understand that yes, you are enough. And as you go through those process, you're going to let go of some emotional wounds, and you're going to go through some principles and characteristics of what is a servant. Do you meet that profile of a servant? But when God gave me Fit by God's Design, then he said there's 12 transformational habits to a heart healthier you. So those 12 steps, each month you will have one of these principles. And also my newest book is Relentless Believers of Prayer, and it is a 90-day prayer guide. And he said it's a guide because it's a way that you can learn how to pray, or it can enhance your prayer life, or it kind of guide you, because sometimes you're like, well, what I'm going to pray about, or, I want to read scripture, but I don't know where to start at. So this is a guide. In the first portion of this book, it's going to give you information about what is relentless. And relentless means that we're unstoppable, that we're unmovable, we're unrelenting, and we're constant. And that constant means that we're not going to stop. And we're believers of prayer. And you notice that it's a 90-day prayer guide to becoming. I don't know how many of you received Michelle Obama book that said Becoming, and you can see her process. So God told me to tell you that we're becoming. We haven't made it yet, but we're always in a state of evolving and becoming. So it's a 90-day prayer guide to becoming fit by God's design. And you see that fit again? That's focus plus impact equal transformation. Do you see how God connected the dots, that when you're willing and obedient, that you should eat the goods of the land? Because if I started out the way I wanted to, I don't believe that it would have come together like this. So in this 90-day prayer guide to becoming fit, it's going to start teaching you about being relentless. It's going to teach you about, the 12 relentless prayer habits. And we want habits. You pick up the language. Okay, in our annual planner, it's a habit planner. In our Relentless Believers of Prayer, is that we want to create some transformational habits, and prayer is a habit. So we're becoming. So as you're going through the process, that you want to be consistent, you want to be steadfast, unmovable, that you're going to do it, you're going to pick it up. It may not feel good, it may not have time, but because I have purpose in my heart, in my spirit, that I'm going to do this, because I'm doing it. I'm doing the trichotomy of health. And that's in my mind, my body, and my spirit. So we want to always talk. When I talk to you about fitness, it never would just be one-sided. It always going to be your mind, your body, and your spirit, because I want you to be whole with nothing missing and nothing broken. So in the Relentless Prayer Guide, it will have 91 days. And it will guide you through the process. But if for those who have purchased the book, you may not know that there's a rhythm to the book, that there is something that is engrossed in there that connects to that annual planner. In the annual planner, that every month you will have a transformational habit. And so every week that you will have a habit that you will process through. So the 12 transformational habits to a heart healthier you. That first week or that first month, it's going to be you have to make a decision to change. And a change is not a change until you change. You can want to change, you can desire change, but until you change. And your change may look different than my change. So you have to start where you are and to thine own self be true. So that second transformational habit is health by God's design. See, we want you to be in pursuit of health. We want you to learn how to make changes that I can live with for the rest of my life. Not no fad diets, because sometimes you can hear about it. And I done been on most of all of the fad diets that you can think of, and they were only for a moment. It wasn't a habit that I could create to last for a lifetime. And so that life that I'm talking about is lifelong impact for every day or everybody. You want to be able to live this life every day. So the third one is that you have to renew your mind. And so we have a whole week that we're going through the process in the Relentless Believer of Prayer. We're going to go through the process of renewing your mind. In the annual planner, that it's going to be a month that's dedicated. When you go in your annual fat goals, you'll see an area that is going to have this habit in there. And then it also would have your place where you can take a picture every month so you can measure your process. And you can even look at the different changes, whether you can see it physically or you can see it, whereas it may be a glow, it may be a smile, it may be, a set confidence that you see and that's illuminated through that photo. So do that through that process, and that's in your Fit by God's Design annual planner. Then the fourth one, and 4 is foundation. And this is where you have to declare that I am enough. And you have to bind up all of the naysayers and soothsayers, everybody that's saying that you're not, when God says that you're fearfully and you're wonderfully made. In the prayer book, we have a whole week of declaration where I'm going to declare this and I'm going to declare that. There's some different areas that God had given me. And then when we set it up, where every day you would have a quote, you will have a relentless word, you're going to have a relentless meditation, and a relentless prayer. And so every day when you're looking at these transformational habits, see those 7 days where you have in your Relentless Believers of Prayer, we're hoping that there's some change take place so that you can go to the next. Now in your annual planner, I set it up on a monthly basis. And then the fifth one is that you have to deepen and increase your knowledge and spiritual basis. It is vital that you are aware of where you are in God. And you got to increase in your spirit and your knowledge. You got to read. That's why it's important. And so I utilize that in my Relentless Believers of Prayer guide, so that you're getting word and you're meditating and you're coming into a place of prayer. The 7 that, you really got to start looking in the mirror. Don't look at nobody else. To thine own self be true. And you're going to have to look at yourself and say, hey, I need to get this right. I said that wrong. You have to look in that mirror. Nobody should have to tell you where you are. So a part of that annual planner is that it's a self-actualization. Now, something special that is inside of the Relentless Believer of Prayer, after every day, we have a Fit by God's Design review. And so it's going to ask you, what is my focus today, and am I relentlessly pursuing my purpose? Then the next one, am I making an impact today? And if I'm not making an impact, do I need to reevaluate and reassess? The next one is, what transformation is taking place or need to take place in my life? And you're asking yourself this, you're not consulting anyone else. To thine own self be true. And then every day we need to create a habit that we are right now, things that we're grateful for. And then what are you in expectation for? walk in expectancy. And at the bottom is like a prayer journal or your prayer request, because we get a lot of people asking us, would you pray for me? Or when you're meditating or you're reading the scripture or you on your journey, God could be speaking to you and you want to make sure that you're finding a place that you're jotting that down. So it's a structure that's kind of like a prayer guide that is going to help you to become fit by God's design. And then the 8 transformational habit is that you're going to apply the truth. After you have learned all this information, then there should be some application. You apply the truth consistently. And the 9th one is that you guard your heart with some self-control. It is vital that you have some self-control, that we don't just arbitrarily just going to allow things that come in our mind to come out of our mouth, because that could totally destroy you. So you must have some self-control when it comes in with relationship, with your family, on your job, with your career, in the church, that you're going to apply the truth, and then you guard your heart with self-control. And the 10th one is that you're going to defend your mind, and you're going to make a change, because your perspective may not necessarily be the right perspective. So you got to be open and willing to receive. And that 11th one, because we know that, we have to be in a state of preparation. And we see with this pandemic that because we didn't take heed to what they had said before, our preparation wasn't all there. And that's why we were caught without having all our PPEs and everything we need. So this is an opportunity that you already plan how you're going to overcome relapse and setbacks. Don't you know that birthdays, holidays, vacation, Christmas, emotions gonna come, and that's life. So you already need to have a plan in place how I'm gonna overcome that and not to wallow in there. Because yes, relapse are real, setbacks are real, but what are you putting in place? And the 12th one is key that we really need to follow, that we're going to depend on God and others. But get this, you got to celebrate every victory. Your victory may not be like my victory, but we're going to get in a place that we learn how to celebrate the victory that we have accomplished. So these are the things that are in Relentless Believers of Prayer. It's a 90-day prayer guide to becoming fit by God's design. And it goes through 12 weeks where you have an opportunity to do the transformational habits to a heart healthier you. And in the Fit by God's Design book, you would have those same principles, but you will have an opportunity once a month. But you have so much more in here. So it's one other thing. Let me see. Oh, it's behind me. Okay. And this is Fat Chick by God's Design. It's a daily fitness and nutritional journal. And so this is how you can use this journal. First of all, it's going to start off, I believe, every week. It gives you a fit and fat for life. Fat Chick by God's Design by Dr. Pat, the fat nutritionist. So these are questions. What nutrition and fitness habits do I need to adopt to make this transformation happen by God's design? What self-actualization habits do I need to adopt to make this transformation happen? What is in my heart? What is my heart motivation? Who is my support network, and who is helping me to stay accountable? And then this right here, what is my reward for reaching my personal fit and fat goal by God's design for mind, body, and spirit? Also in this book, we have an area where you can see, because this is your personal book. And so this is all about you on your journey. So this is where you start off, that you do your weight, do your measurement, because a lot of times we're built differently, and that you may lose a lot of inches but no pounds. And I don't want you to get discouraged because you may fit in a smaller dress size than that person who weighed less than you. This is your personal journey. So if you go ahead, these areas, go ahead and get you a measuring tape. I ordered one from, see, something so simple, and do your measurements. And then you can calculate your BMI. But let me just warn you, the BMI, the body mass index, that a person that looks skinny can still be deemed as though they are obese. So you're going to have to look at your goals. You're going to have to look at your victories. You're going to have to look at, how you're progressing through. So it gives you how you can calculate your BMI. Then it says, I am enough. See, after you write that down, you got to say, I am enough, because 3 John verse 2 says, Beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper, be in health, even as your soul prospereth. And so in this book, we see that it has a male version and a female. Because one thing that God had told me, he said, Trisha, I have allowed you to mentor both male and female. So don't make everything so specific, so gender specific. Even when I started putting my academy together, and I had already was going to decide about my logo, and God changed it. He said, because if you keep that logo, then what you did, you blocked out males, because they're not going to be walking around saying I'm a fat chick. So I changed it. It's still PCM Academy, but it's Patricia's Collaborative Mentoring Academy. It's still PCM. It's still, right now, Fat Chick Mentoring Academy. But then it's progressive, whereas I can use it for both male and female for children. Here, your resistance training, you can log your exercise. You can put whatever weight and how many reps. This is like if you're going to lift some weights. It's important to get some weights to build up too. In here, you have your daily nutritional journal. And whereas you can write out all what you eat. And you can Google your food and you can find out what is the protein, the calorie, the fat, the calorie. They don't have to be totally exact, but you can get enough information so that you can see just where I'm at and where I may need to move for the next day. And then at the bottom of this, it says, how much water did you drink today? So you put your number of glasses or ounces. And then, see, all of this you see is body, mind, and spirit. It said, how would you rate yourself? See, this to your own self be true. How would you rate yourself on creating habits to your plan today? And so you're going to have to do a 1 to 10 scale. Did you accomplish your habit? And then it said, did you make your fat by God's design daily confession? Because you saw where we had a daily confession from the annual planner Fit by God's Design. So every day it's going to ask you, did you recite those? Did you declare who you are? And then, did you do any cardio today? What type and what type of duration? So you will have this all the way through for 90 days. And that's Fat Chick by God's Design. And it's a daily fitness and nutritional journal. So if you have any question, I'm also a registered licensed dietitian. If you need one-on-one, that you can contact me. You can email me at drpat@patriciakjames.com, and we can set up a plan designed just for you in mind. I encourage you to go to my website. It's www.patriciakjames.com, and it will give you the wholeness, the holistic approach of who I am and how the different areas fit together. When we're talking about serving in ministry, we're talking about health, nutrition, and fitness. If you're on Facebook, you notice that I have different pages, and I set up the pages according to those 4 areas. I have a blanket page, which is PKJ Global Ministry. In this, it's going to focus on what I need to focus on once a month, in that area. Then in the serving, and I look at, that's my prayer, my spirituality. So I have a page called Relentless Global Believers of Prayer. And that's where you will see more of the spirituality portion of it. And then when we look at the health, we're looking at nutrition and wholeness. I have a page for nutrition and wholeness. On that page, you're going to find out more about nutrition and wholeness. It's not going to be where I'm sharing a lot of prayers. I'm sharing everybody videos. But that page is going to be set aside specifically for that area. And then I Fit for the Kingdom, that area is more about the fitness. And so you're not going to see where we're sharing, prayers and all different things. But we have two people that come in the group and they're doing prayer and chat. That's different. They coming in the group to do it because I want everyone to kind of understand the facets that God has given me. And so there's different areas and different arenas. So if you got a more of the fitness, even though it may have some challenges in there with some food in there, but it's going to be more designed for fitness. And then if you're that person that's saying, well, I got the fitness, but I need a more of a nutrition focus, then you come to Nutrition and Wholeness for Life. You need the spirituality portion of it. Come to Relentless Believer, Global Believers of Prayer. And then if you want to get all of it, then you will see PKJ Global Ministry. And on my page, I have a personal page, Patricia K. James, and that's where I would share prayers. I would share other folks' ministries and different things. But we're trying to keep it where if you got a focus area that you want to focus on, that's what you'll find in that group. And we're going to be geared towards that. I'm so grateful. I had spoken to Marsha, I think she's on the group, that, about branding and how we set up different things. So I went through and I restructured all of my pages so they can flow out of PK James. The blanket ministry is PK James Global Ministry, and everything I do, because you're a global champion. But in those different areas, that's what you're going to find in there. Like I Fit for the Kingdom, the primary focus is fitness. It may have some nutrition in there, but the primary focus is the fitness. Nutrition and Wholeness, the primary focus is nutrition. We may have fitness in there, but we want to make sure that the primary focus of that page is being followed. And then a Relentless Global Believers of Prayer. That's where we have prayer at. That's where we have the spiritual and the serving. I also set up that I will be coming in on different days to go live in the group. So you can go and look at on my page and you'll see what day that I may be in PKJ Global Ministry. And then when I will be in Nutrition and Wholeness for Life, when I will be in Relentless Global Believers of Prayer, and then when I'll be in I Fit for the Kingdom. But right now we have a challenge going on, and I Fit for the Kingdom is being fit for life. And that fit is fearless integrity with your time, talent, and treasure. And it's for life. That's lifelong impact for every day. So if you want to get the fitness portion of it, go to that group. And because I am a registered licensed dietitian, I'm always going to give you information that I can prove and defend, because I cannot, because you can literally sue me. So you won't see fad diets in there. I will have encouragement. I will have stuff from my board and from my website, from the Commission on Dietetic Registration. But I want to give you information that you can live with, where you have in moderation and you're having variety. So, if you want to be a part of any of these groups, feel free to go and like the page, because you still have time to get in on the challenge. The challenge started on June the 1st. So you can get in on the challenge. Also, it's another challenge going on from Divine Destiny and Purpose Global Ministry, and it's through my sister. Because when I'm looking for a global champions all over the world, and she's using some of the products. And then we have the beauty fitness. See, we want this to be fit by God's design, and we want it to go all around the world. We never can have enough groups and people talking about fitness by God's design. So I'm going to get off because I know my sister just getting on at 2 o'clock. But if you have any question, you can email me at drpat@patriciakjames.com. Visit my website at www.patriciakjames.com. You also can visit www.drpatriciajames.com, and you can go down to the buy button. This page was designed for Faithfully Favored and Fit, but if you click that button, it'll take you to Amazon, and it'll show you all of my products, and so you can purchase your products from there also. And I'm the pastor and founder of My Heart to You Healing and Deliverance Community Church, and you can go to www.myhearttoyou.com for more information there. So from my heart to yours, remember that I'm here for you, and God has given me a mission and on your journey to empower you to maximize your potential, to ignite your passion. I want you to get passion, get excited about it. Ignite your passion so that you can fulfill your purpose, activate your faith so that you can be released to make an impact in this world and walk in your God-given kingdom assignment in total fitness with your mind, body, and spirit. And with a mandate, you are enough. I am Dr. Patricia James, and I approve this message.